It is 1 o'clock. We're going to get promptly started. My name is Liliana Howard. I'm your Professional Development Manager here at the Coalition. First off, I just want to thank everyone for loving each other through the portal. I know it has been crazy, and I really appreciate everyone's patience. I appreciate the loving attitudes as we love each other through this process. And Miss Janet is going to address that later in our provider meeting. So stand by for that information. We have handouts available, the Health and Safety Handbook, the provider packet, the Early Childhood Forum flyer. And when you logged in, the first thing you should have seen was the Early Childhood Forum, and it has a nice little QR code where you guys can register for free tickets to get a free lunch. We are celebrating 25 years of service to Marion County, but we did not do it alone. So we want to invite each and every one of you, as many as possible, to come join us in the celebration of 25 years serving Marion County families. We would really like to recognize, especially those providers who have been with us from the beginning, back in 1999. I almost feel like that's a Prince song. And so we want to recognize you. And with that being said, it's going to be at the Mary Sue Rich Community Center. We're going to be celebrating, so of course this is part of our celebrations. And right here, community relations at elc-marion.org. If you're one of those providers that have been with us from the beginning, and maybe you have contact with school readiness families that we've served, or VPK families that we've served from the beginning, we would like to recognize you guys. So if you would email communityrelations@elc-marion.org to give them that information. But we're also celebrating our child care providers through provider appreciation. Our provider appreciation is going to be in June. We want to recognize you guys that have participated in the 25 years. And, how long have you been operational? How long have you been contracted with the Coalition? Do you have any fond memories that can be shared about or with the Coalition? If so, please email that to quality@elc-marion.org and put in the subject line, provider appreciation. We would look forward to those stories. We want to really, during our provider appreciation, really honor our child care providers. And with it being our silver anniversary, we want to make that known, especially. Okay.
I can't hear you.
I can hear Janet. Okay. Janet, can you hear me now, Janet? Can everybody else hear me?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on. Okay, so one of the other things I do besides be your professional development manager is I have the pleasure of working with our compliance team and Annie Boyd, and we do your health and safety technical assistance. So we have been noticing some patterns, and in an effort to try to help you guys be proactive, I just want to bring a few things to your attention. So this is an example of a inspection report, and of course, we have to mark out whose it is because we're not going to do that. No. See, Antoinette, I'm not violating. I have Ms. Antoinette Brown on the line from Child Care Regulation Supervisor, Department of Children and Families. She's going to help me with this conversation. And let me just make sure that are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, awesome. And I'm going to start. So there's like 3 main areas that our team has noticed here at the Coalition. I like to say that the Department of Children and Families and the Coalition are sisters, but we each have our own house and we run by our own set of rules, but we help each other. But one of the things that we learned in the Health and Safety Technical Assistance Department is that there's some reoccurring violations that are happening, and a lot of it happens in physical environment, and this is a category, and a lot of it happens in record keeping and training, especially number 33, training requirements. Those are like the 3 most common violations. And here's record keeping. And I want to say this is probably like, oh my gosh, it's like these 2 right here, 41 and 42 under record keeping. And you can see they're class 3, the top number 1 most common above all. And these are things that can be, that if we're proactive, you can avoid getting a violation in. Well, why is it so important to avoid these violations? Because depending on the class of the violation, if you get too many of them within a 2-year period, it can have some very serious results that you want to avoid. So I'm going to show you in the Health and Safety Handbook page, its enforcement is section 6, and it starts on page 12. You have your definitions, and this is in your handout. And I just want to show you what I'm talking about. So everybody knows about class 1s, but let me tell you a little bit about class 2. For the first violation of a class 2, the Early Learning Coalition must provide technical assistance. For the second violation of the same class 2 standard, and let me show you what an example of a standard is. So this is the category, and correct me if I'm wrong, Antoinette. This is the section, but this right here, 41-2, that's the standard.
Correct.
Okay, so if you violate the standard, go back to our handbook, a second time, then the coalition does a corrective action for class 2. If you violate it a third time, it's a corrective action, but any subsequent or accumulated violations of the same standard could potentially lead to probation. So again, this is it starts on page 12, goes through to page 15. Here you got class 3 violations, first and second, technical assistance, third and fourth, corrective action, sixth and seventh, failure to comply with the terms of corrective action notice must place the school readiness provider contract on probation. So, and this is in a 2-year period. So you want to be proactive about this. You want to avoid these violations. And with me, I have the expert, Ms. Antoinette Brown, to help you understand how you can be proactive. So go for it, Ms. Brown.
So first, I just want to take a moment to remind you all that we are here to support you guys every step of the way. Licensing counselors are your partners to ensure that your child care program is providing quality care to meet all of our standards. We are not here just to do inspections and to make sure that you're in compliance. We're here to offer you guidance and technical assistance to help you navigate through the tasks that you have to do to operate your program. Whether you are a new provider or have been in the business for years, we are here to assist you. We understand that it is difficult at times complying with state and federal laws and administrative rules, and it can be challenging. That's why your licensing counselor is there to provide you with assistance the whole way through. They are available to answer any of your questions, to provide you with support. We do also have the ability to train your directors, your staff. If you guys are available, please reach out to your licensing counselor if that is something that you wish to do. For Marion County, Charity Barnes is currently the licensing specialist. And she can be reached at 352-281-8070. I'm going to repeat that number again. It is 352-281-8070. You can also contact myself at 352-303-1538. And again, it is 352-303-1538. The class 2 progressive enforcement that EOC is referring to is a little bit different. Ours is the same, but there are some differences. Of course, the first violation that you receive for a class 2 is technical assistance, and the noncompliance is documented on your inspection report. For the second noncompliance that you receive, that is a class 2, you would be given a administrative fine, and that fine amount would be $50. For the third violation, we would provide you with technical assistance, and that fine amount will increase by a little bit, which is $60. For the fourth one that you receive, that is a class 2, you will receive technical assistance. Your license could possibly be placed on probationary status for the amount of 6 months or less. And you would receive a fine of $75. For the fifth one that you receive and beyond, your license could be suspended, denied, or revoked. You want to make sure that you definitely are working with your counselors if you do see that you are on your third or your second violation for any noncompliance, but especially if you're getting a class 2 and you notice that you are on your third or your fourth one. Because once you get to the fifth noncompliance, your license is in jeopardy and you do not want to be in that situation. You will at that time be issued a fine of $100, and the fee amount is not a lot, but you do not want to put your business in jeopardy. Please reach out to myself, reach out to your licensing specialist. We are here to provide you guidance and to help you through this. And I do believe if we work together, we can create a safe environment for children. And, we can achieve the goals that we wish to do so, which is keeping children safe.
Absolutely. And just to clarify, Antoinette, because just like I said, we're sisters, but we have our own house. And the violations that I'm referring to are from the School Readiness Health and Safety Handbook. And and Antoinette, yours is coming from the DCF Health and Safety Handbook, right?
Correct.
So when you see an inspection, let me show you guys something in case you're not aware of this. I know we have a lot of new providers. You'll see a little key on the top right-hand side of your inspection, and feel free to use your copy of your inspection as a checklist and go through your whole site and say, okay, did I do this? Did I do this? But you'll see that the ones in black are DCF standards, and the ones in green are DCF and SR standards, and the ones in blue are only SR standards. So when you go, and I'm going to show you an example. Avert your eyes if you guys can't handle the scrolling. So you see how this is green? So because this is green, this is what type of standard? This applies to which handbook? I'll go ahead and answer my question. So that because it's green, it's both an SR and DCF standard. So that means if you have too many violations of that standard, you're going to have to not only do the DCF fees, but you're going to have the corrective actions for school readiness. Now, if it was just a DCF standard, it would have been in black, right, Ms. Antoinette?
Correct.
And then if it was just the school readiness standard that was violated, this would be in blue. So that's how you know which handbook that's referring to. Now, can they get a copy of the handbook from you, Ms. Antoinette, for DCF?
Absolutely. Yes. We do have the handbook on our public website that you can access, but I want to, can I add the handbook as an attachment here?
You can email it to me and I'll make sure that we have the link on our provider newsletter. How about that?
Great.
Yep. So we'll do that. We'll put that link to the handbook on the newsletter. And if you want to send me the link in the questions, Ms. Antoinette, I can send it to everybody in the chat.
Sounds great.
So do we have any questions for Ms. Antoinette regards to what we just spoke about? We do have a lot on our agenda, but I want to give you guys credit or time. Okay, I don't see any questions, but if we have any later, will you be available, Ms. Antoinette?
Yes.
Okay, all right, awesome. All right, in that case, we're gonna go ahead and move on in our agenda. Let me find Miss Elizabeth Diola. She's gonna talk to us about professionalism. There she is. Can you say something, E?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, there she is.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Lily, for that. And thank you, Antoinette, for being here with us today. We appreciate your partnership. And you also supported our early childhood conference with the books. We're very appreciative for that partnership that we have with you. So I wanted to talk to everybody on a very serious topic that we at the Coalition, we are not, we won't, okay. We're not going to take people mistreating each other at the Coalition. We will not stand for it. Back in February at our CPR training, we had an incident that occurred both within the classroom and that escalated into our parking lot. Luckily, there was nobody hurt, but I would like to, on behalf of the Coalition, I apologize if you were in that class and you experienced any discomfort, because the actions, while they are not at the fault of the Coalition or of our vendor, our CPR instructor, they are not acceptable. So we are instilling some new rules for anybody that's registering for any of the ELC sponsored trainings. So anything that happens, whether it's online, virtually, or in person at our office, or even our early childhood conference, if we are a part of it, we will enforce the rules of professionalism. And what that means basically is we will not stand for ugly talking to each other. There's no reason for negative talk or outbursts or antagonizing or making fun of, teasing, rude comments, snarky comments, rude gestures, behaviors, making an unnecessary, that could almost be perceived as a threat in a movement. Anything like that will not be tolerated in our trainings. So we believe that you are professionals. We try our very hardest at every moment to remain professional towards you as well. And we want to maintain that type of environment in our trainings, because honestly, you all work far too hard to become and be seen as the professionals that you are and the teachers in our early learning industry. And we are trying to build this up, and we can't have, and it's a small number, so please don't think that it's a large group of people. It is a small number, but you know what happens when one or two decide to act out. We have to take action. We can't just sit back and allow it to occur. So you will be seeing in upcoming trainings as you register through our calendar, our Acuity site, however you get to our registration pages, you will see coming up in the future, it hasn't been quite approved yet, but it will be, some rules that basically says if you're signing up for this training, you agree to abide by the rules of professionalism as listed in that document below. And it's basically everything I just said. We're going to treat each other with respect. Even if we disagree, it's okay. It's actually very healthy to have a disagreement so that we can learn from each other, because my point of view may not be the same as yours. And that's okay. That doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it an opportunity for us to get to know each other better. And so we are going to make sure that our classrooms are safe for everybody, that everyone feels welcome, that there is the opportunity for learning, and that if there is a disruption, we will address it immediately. And if it continues on and you're asked to leave, or any of your staff, we will address your staff directly. Now, if as a director, most of you that are on this call are typically directors and owners, please share with your staff if they are deciding to attend one of our trainings, they're attending and representing your site. And that is a big deal. You work really hard for your reputation in the community and with our families and our children and other teachers, other providers. If they are acting against any of the rules that are going to be set forth, we will ask them to leave. They will not get credit. There will be no refund issued. If they're asked to leave and things escalate, there's a possibility of being banned from future trainings. There's no time limit either, because we're not going to keep up with that. It's not going to be, oh, you're banned until June 30th of this year. We're not going to keep up with that. We don't need people coming to our trainings that make others uncomfortable because of their behavior. So let me pause and see if anybody has any questions.
They do not have any questions.
Okay. And I
But
hope that you can hear in my voice how serious I am about this. Lily had to handle the situation. Our vendor had to handle the situation. This is not okay for everybody else that's there either. So please, please, please have a talk with your staff about appropriate behavior. Lily, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh no, you're good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for bringing the big guns with you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. And I do want to say thank you to the Department of Children and Families. I hope you guys are coming to the conference this weekend. Every teacher who comes, thanks to DCF, is going to get one of these lovely books. It's called The Most Important Thing. So thank you again to our sister agency, the Department of Children and Families. And Antoinette, thank you guys.
I love that book.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's got folds outs and everything. All right, so we're gonna continue moving on. And thank you, E. And I'm gonna go ahead and we've got Janet Honor is gonna talk about the tracking through the portal for provider relations. And Janet, you should be unmute, but let me
I
double
just
check.
unmuted myself. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you, darling.
Okay, that's good. So, unfortunately, I cannot hear myself, but that is okay. I have my team here with me, so if anything goes wrong, they'll let me know. As you guys know, there's been an update to the provider portal, and there are things going on in the portal that is happening all over the state. So you may not be able to log in. You may have not received an email with your username or password, or you may be able to log in and you don't see where you can access your attendance. If that is the case, I'm asking that you email Quality, that's quality@elc-marion.org, and let us know. What we are doing is just keeping a tracking sheet of all of our providers that have an issue with the portal at this time. And then we will let our IT department know, as well as DEL too. But please know that they are doing their best to work out the kinks with the portal, and know that we are feeling it too. So there are times where we can log in and the portal's accessing well for us, and then at the same time, we can't log in. Sometimes we're not able to log in, and the portal's not working well for us. So everyone's feeling this right now, and it will get resolved. Just give us some time and give us some grace as we work through this. Okay?
We'll love each other through it, right, Janet?
That's right. I really can't hear Lily. I hear a little bit over the wall, but we're going to do our best to help each other through everything dealing with this portal, attendance, and all of that good stuff. So now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk to you guys about VPK, updates. As always, we talk about progress monitoring. We're into the stage of progress monitoring 3. Now, this is where I get really stern with you guys. PM3, you cannot retest the child at PM3 if that child is not tested, because PM3 is the last of the testing for your program. Once PM3 is over, it's over. So please be sure that you test each and every student that is enrolled in your program. If you have a student that is no longer enrolled in your program, you need to be sure that that student has been unenrolled properly, okay? If you have any issues with withdrawing a student, unenrolling that student, you need to contact the Family Services Department. That's family service at elc-marion.org, okay? If you have a student that is enrolled in your program and you don't see them on your roster for Renaissance, please email not only Family Services, but also Quality too. We need to be sure that we are assisting you the best way that we can to get that student to show up in Renaissance so you can test them, okay? Lily, do I have any questions there? And if so, can you put them in the chat for me?
Yeah, I'm going to put them in Teams if you have any questions, because I know you can see that.
That's the chat I'm referring to, guys.
Yep. And it said, I'm looking to see if we have questions.
Okay.
Give me just a minute. Looks like we got, okay, so the first question is, will we get an extension for submitting attendance if our portals are not fixed? Can we get phone calls back about new placements? And well, hold on, let me do the first question first. I'm going to put this in the.
Okay. So I heard her say, will there be an extension for submitting the attendance? And we will be working with the reimbursement and finance department to contact our providers in regards to an extension. Okay. So more guidance is to come on that. Okay.
And then I put the second. You should see this. You should see it in the leader chat.
The second question is,
Can we get phone calls back about new placements and redeterminations until the portal is fixed?
again, more guidance is to come on that. We'll have to connect with the Family Services Department to see how that's going to roll out, okay?
Okay, and here's your next question. I'm putting it in the chat for you. Can you see it okay?
I received it. You can begin testing now. So I read the question. Yes, progress monitoring 3 is due the last 30 instructional days. Look at your progress monitoring dates, okay? If you're within your last 30 instructional days, you want to start testing those students right now. Don't wait, and I repeat, do not wait until the last week. Do not wait until the last week to test all your students. Sometimes parents decide not to bring their children the last week of school, or they might do a summer vacation, start their summer vacation early. Do not wait the last week or the last 2 weeks of school. As soon as your 30 days start, you want to start testing those students, because the students have already been in your program. They already are adjusted to you, to their peers, to their teachers. So you should start testing as soon as it is open, okay?
And that's the last question.
That being said, let's go into the Summer Bridge and the STAR Parent Report. So the STAR Parent Report, you must give this parent report to parents 7 days after the student has taken the test. This is not 7 days after the entire class, 7 days after each student. Little Johnny takes this test, you want to give go to Johnny's mom or dad, that parent report 7 days after that test, okay? A best practice is make sure that you keep a copy of that too for your records. Also, let's talk about Summer Bridge. So with the Summer Bridge program, this is for VPK students who fall below the 10th percentile or have a non-participation status, or such as assessment inappropriate, failed practice, or they're a non-English speaker. If they are in the 10th percentile or they did not participate for some reason, you want to make sure that you give a copy of that parent report to the parents, because information of the Summer Bridge is going to be needed for um, that progress monitoring report. Okay, so what happens there is you're gonna contact the public schools to register, and that's gonna start April 7th. Is open registration for that, and you have to have your progress monitoring 3 report, star parent report. So the parents have to have that. So make sure you have copies of that saved, because a parent may be contacting you to get another copy. Okay. Like I said, you're going to register with the public schools to attend the Summer Bridge program. As a best practice, you want to give the flyer and the parent report to the parents at the same time. Okay? You want to give them at the same time, so they have all the information that they need at one time. Okay? Keep copies of this, because you never know when a parent may need another copy. Okay? Any questions?
No questions at this
Okay,
time.
I'm going to try to speed up because it's 1:32. Um,
And
more
as you
on
can,
VPK, the VPK FAST training required agreements and certifications. Normally, this comes out every year in May, like around May 1st. We haven't gotten any update from DEL on when the training will be available, but once we do, we are going to let you know. But just please know that every year this must be done, and only VPK personnel that is going to be administering the FAST testing to the students need the certification. Okay, if you have a sub, an aide, a coach, a director, assistant director that is in the VPK program with you, best practice is to have them take this training. Okay. The required agreements and the certificate is needed for each teacher, and it must be uploaded individually for each teacher in the document management library. Okay, so there's more to come on that. Now moving on to the VPK apps. Okay, orientation is going to start very soon, but VPK apps will be initiated after you have attended orientation. You have to be aware that you can't have a VPK contract without the VPK app being completed first. And with that being said, I want you guys to be mindful of your VPK start and end times. A lot of times with the VPK app, we see many providers put 7 o'clock that they're going to start. But then in the middle of the year, they want to switch it to 7:30 or 8:30 for their time, because you might serve breakfast. So just keep in mind, if you know that you're going to serve breakfast, you're going to serve some type of meal, breakfast or lunch, that time has to be instructional. If you know that you don't want to have instruction during your meal time, as a best practice, you can put in your attendance policy. Your meals start at 7 o'clock, 7:30 a.m. is when your VPK program starts. However you want to do it, it's all up to you. But just note that any meal time during VPK hours must be instructional. Okay? Our monitors and our quality assessment team will be looking for that. Okay, I'm gonna move on more quickly. Any questions before I move on?
I just wanted to make sure, does the parent report need to be the PM3, the one that goes to the public schools? That's a
Yes,
yes, right?
yes.
Okay,
PM3, your
all right,
PM3 report. And remember, you're gonna save a copy for your records, and you're
okay.
gonna give a copy to the parent.
And is
Okay?
that the test? Is the report also the test results?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so answer to that question is yes for both. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Summer VPK. If any providers are interested in offering summer VPK, please send an email to quality@elc-marion.org. We will be happy to start assisting you with updating your VPK app to add your summer classrooms. So just let us know if you would like to offer summer VPK. Our students could use it. VPK orientation. Here are your dates for orientation. I want to just point out that SR orientation started out kind of slow. We do have a lot of providers that did not make it to SR orientation. I would hate for that to happen with VPK orientation. So please be mindful, sign up for orientation. There are 4 dates for you to choose from. You can see it in your notes, April 1st, April 3rd, April 8th, April 10th. Tuesdays are always in the morning from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. And Thursdays are always at night from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay, any questions?
And it's the orientation sign up is on the website, and this is an example where you can go, professional development. And you said 9:30 to 11:30?
Yes,
I will make those corrections on the website.
thank you, thank you. Email reminders have been sent out. In your email, there is a link to register for the orientation as well, okay? Any questions for going to school readiness?
Nope.
All righty. So orientation, I talked about this already with SR orientation. We're going to be following up with only the providers that did not attend SR orientation. This is a requirement of your contract. You must attend orientation to have a SR contract, okay? Speaking of contracts, let's talk about contract amendments. It is your responsibility to sign your contract amendment. Please be sure that you are signing the contract amendment and submitting it back to me in the portal. There is a lengthy process that goes on with the contract amendment, but you have to do your part. If it sits in the queue for too long, we're going to keep reminding you and reminding you. But if it's regarding provider rates or a holiday schedule, you won't be reimbursed on time for that because you didn't sign the amendment. Okay, any questions there?
Will there be a virtual option for VPK orientation?
I am looking into that. I am looking into that. So we will definitely be sending out an email letting you know whether it will be in person or virtually, okay?
And that's it.
All righty. 25, 26 contract tips. You know that contracts are coming up. So I'm asking you guys that when your contract is initiated, that you be mindful of your holidays. Make sure that the spelling of each holiday is correct. I have to do my part as well and make sure that spelling is correct also. Make sure that you're listing the 10 holidays. There are going to be some updates coming within the contract, and we'll share that with you guys a little bit later. But be mindful of your holiday schedule. Child assessment. We typically have the same providers conduct child assessment every year. But if you decide that you want to conduct child assessment, we ask that you please let us know and you reach out to the professional development manager, which is our DJ, Miss
Hey, y'all.
Howard, and that you let her know that you want to do child assessment because there is a differential that goes within your contract. And you have to select yes to child assessment in the contract.
And I'd be happy to let anybody know what what the requirements are to qualify for that too.
Right. So that's why you're going to reach out to Lily. It, she needs to explain it to you in detail, and it would be better that you guys email her so you can get that information one-on-one, and we can come back, next provider meeting, and share that too. This provider meeting is kind of lengthy, so that's why her information is put there for you to contact her. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going to give it over to Miss Mary Brewster. She's going to talk a little bit more about VPK and about the director and teacher requirements. I'm muting myself now.
Miss Mary, we can't hear you. Nope. Mary, go ahead and go to Miss Janet's office. I know that
Okay, Mary's going to be joining me in my office, and she'll finish her segment.
Mary's tips. Do you know if she's going to go over instructors first?
Okay. You have a headset? I don't have a headset. So just look into the air.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, Mary.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. VPK lead teacher and director requirements. Please follow these flyers carefully. Every time you get a new lead teacher or a new director, these requirements must be showing on their DCF training transcripts. If you have difficulties, if you're not sure, you can always email the transcript to me. I will glance it over to make sure that your teacher you want to hire has what they need. Because I know it's hard for you when I have to reject and say, this person is missing this person is missing this. Also, as you know, pretty soon you're going to be making your VPK apps for the new program year. I highly, highly encourage you, and you're going to hear this many times, I encourage you to have backup directors. We had several this year who lost their directors during the course of the program, and it did, cause some dilemmas. So you have to have a director at all times for VPK. The next one is about your VPK classrooms. On your classroom tab, please make sure you list all your aides and all your subs in every classroom. This is important for your observations. If you get a notice from Melissa or an observation vendor for a 2-week window, it really throws in a monkey wrench if you have to change your teacher listing. So please, and when you do have to change something on your VPK Classrooms tab as far as your teachers, please call and let me know so that I can let Melissa know there's been a teacher change. Everything goes directly from your VPK app to Wells. There's no QPS in between there. So please remember these things. If you have any questions, you can always call me, extension 236. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
All right. And next on our agenda is Miss Melissa Masonette. And I'm trying to figure out, well, where'd she go? This list is so long. There we go. Miss Melissa, can you say something?
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. So this afternoon, I want to have a reminder to everyone about the Rule 6M-8.410 that is about the VPK. And that states that a VPK provider may assign a substitute instructor when a credentialed instructor the credential instructor is the lead teacher, is absent from the provider's premises. A substitute instructor may not be assigned when a credential instructor remains on provider's premises in order for the credential instructor to offer instructions in a classroom other than the one to which the credential instructor is assigned. I'm reading exactly from the rule, so that's the rule verbiage. Now let's simplify it. Let me give you an example. A good example that can happen is that in some facilities we have the director is also the lead teacher. And there's times when the director put that substitute teacher to cover the classroom while that lead teacher is engaged with in activities, maybe covering the kitchen or covering the classroom or in meeting with the parents. The only time that you can have a substitute teacher on the VPK classroom is when your lead teacher is not in the building. The lead teacher is sick, the lead teacher have an appointment, and she's not going to be in the premises that day. That is the only time that you're supposed to have your VPK substitute teacher in the classroom. We are running into some situations when we go and they have the substitute in the classroom, but the lead is still in another classroom or doing something else in the building. And to be in compliance with that rule that I just read, you need to have your substitute teacher is in the covering the VPK classroom when the lead is not in the premises. Okay. Any questions before I keep going, Lily?
There are no questions.
So that is about VPK. Now I wanted to announce everybody that we are approaching to the end of the fiscal year. Woohoo, we're almost done. And this is the best time. If you was observed already, you have your composite score for VPK and SR. Now is the time to go back to those notes, read those notes, and it's the best time to start getting ready for the next fiscal year that I'm gonna go rolling with observations starting probably mid of July. So this is the time that if you require any technical assistance or training to support your staff in your upcoming observations for next fiscal year, please feel free to get in touch with Quality Assessment Department or with the Professional Development Department. And we will appreciate if you can make the request for the trainings and technical assistance in advance, because this will be more beneficial for your center and helpful for your team also, because that way they can start working in those areas that needs to be improved, that maybe they score good but they want to score higher. So this is the time to get the the practice, the technical assistant, and to get your teachers used to what they need to do daily. I will ask you to please don't wait until your observation is scheduled to start trying to get the assistant, because we have such a amount of time, a big amount of observations, and to be able to accommodate everything, it will be very appreciated if you can request the help and the technical assistant earlier, not when your 2 weeks window is already sent to you and you know that we're going. And as best practice, please keep track of your emails. You know that when I send you your score, I always send you the observation notes and your strength and needs report. That will help you also to know what are those areas that you can have that technical assistant to improve your scores. And you can review those notes and scores with your staff, and that will help you know what needs to be, that little touch up to get that better rate. Okay? Any questions?
No questions at this time, but I do want to give a shout out. April 15th is not only the due date for your taxes, it's the due date for your provider profiles. So putting that out there for you. April 15th. Thank you
That's
so
all
much.
for me, Lily. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'm gonna go ahead, Miss Michaela, you should be, it says you're self muted. Oh, wait a minute, say something?
Hello.
There we go.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today I will be going over your VPK provider monitoring tool that we use per DL. You would see that on your screen. This tool is available to any provider. The
I did put it
counselors,
on the handouts.
okay. The counselors typically send out a letter advising that you have been selected for a monitor and the documents that are needed with a due date. Please try to adhere to those due dates. If you do have any issues with getting documents or emergencies come about we are aware of, just don't hesitate to communicate with your counselor or with me to let us know, if your due date is to 326, that you let us know, okay, hey, I'm not able to get that information because XYZ, that you are in communication with us, letting us know that information. Some of the trends that we are experiencing or have been experiencing within the past fiscal year with the VPK monitoring, making sure there is a director, a credentialed director with the background screening there at the site. Um, the teachers, if you have a lead teacher that is there that you put in the system that was approved by quality, and for whatever reason that teacher is no longer employed, you need to let our quality department know of the change of lead teacher so that they can be approved and make sure that all of the classes that are needed to be a lead teacher, that teacher has that information. If compliance comes out and that is not the teacher listed, then of course it will be a non-compliance. So please make sure you are letting quality know of that information. Adhering to your class schedule, making sure the instructional hours are the instructional hours that you have, that we come and monitor during those times. So make sure that you're doing the instructional hours at that time. Curriculum compliance, making sure that the curriculum that you are putting on your contract and you're advising that you are using is the one in fact that you are using, because we are checking to make sure that that is the curriculum that you have at your site. The instructor to child ratio, making sure that based off the amount of VPK students you have the correct amount of teachers. Please also be advised that when the counselors come out, they are still looking, they see the health and safety violations. If there's anything they see that they need to report to DCF, they will report that information to DCF. If there are any if they see any ratio violations, possibly in another class. So just please, make sure that you maintain your ratio at all times, even with your VPK class as well as with your other classes as well. Your VPK attendance, just making sure that you're submitting that. They will review the attendance to make sure the parents are signing and dating those. So just you can look at this form. It's available to you all to see what information that we are looking for when we come out to monitor for VPK. Any questions?
No questions at this time. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Michaela. All right, and then we have a brand new person on our staff, and I'm going to unmute Miss Elizabeth Eckleberry so that she can introduce you to this wonderful person. Miss Elizabeth Eckleberry, are you able to say
Hi,
something?
everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Awesome. So I just wanted to introduce our new person in reimbursement, Mr. Jesus. He has started with us last week, and he will be sending you some emails and doing some rejections, so you'll see his name here and there. I also wanted to introduce Miss Haley as well. She has been with us for some time, but I feel like we have never really introduced her. She does work part-time with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, primarily on VPK. Jesus will be doing VPK and school readiness. But if either of you would like to say hi and go ahead and chime in.
It shows that they're self-muted, so
Oh.
you may want to
Hello.
unmute yourselves, guys.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can
Yes.
hear you, Jesus.
No, we cannot hear you.
I can hear you.
Well, hey, as aforementioned, my name is Jesus. I just want to say I look forward to working with everyone. And of course, as Elizabeth had mentioned, you'll be getting emails from me. Feel free to reply with any questions or if you need clarification or anything like that. That's why I'm here. I'm just excited to be here.
Lovely.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right. And Haley, you're still showing self-muted. Okay.
We're just having some technical difficulties, but as you know, you do see some emails come in from her. We are going to be sending some emails at the end of the month for our VPK providers. You should be receiving those for any unsubmitted or rejected kids you have. So if you have any questions, feel free to reply to those emails or just touch base with us. Thank you.
Lovely. Awesome. All right. And we have 4 minutes to our name. And with that, I would like to bring to your attention just a couple of things. In the packet, you have saved the date for our Family Home Child Care Association Annual Conference, June 25th through 29th. They are taking in registrations for that. So save the date and go for it. Also, I just want to give a heads up that this weekend is our early childhood conference at CF, and we are I'm hoping to see a lot of you guys there. And the registration packet for that is also in the provider packet. And then we also have a pre-K training. I know a lot of people have been wanting to know about availability for pre-K class training. We do have a virtual training available with Anna Gonzalez, who is our central regional facilitator for VPK. And it's April 30th, 2025 from 6:30 to 8 p.m. It's going to be Zoom. And this will also be sent out on our provider newsletter along with Antoinette's link for the DCF handout. I apologize it didn't get put into the provider packet, but it will be in the provider newsletter. So thank you guys so much. And let me double check and make sure. Hold on a minute. I think we may have a question. Oh, the question is, if we have someone who is a VPK, who has the credentials to be a VPK director and has a VPK program, but doesn't have students, can they be a substitute director for other sites? I may have to research that one and get back with you, Miss Francine. Yeah, let us research that and get back with you, because I want to make sure I tell you the right thing. Okay, in that case, everyone, again, I would just want to thank you so much for loving us through the portal.